Fear is a natural part of human life. From the moment we are born, we learn to protect ourselves. We fear pain, loss, and the unknown. One fear that grows as we live and learn is the fear of failure. It touches all of us. It whispers that we are not good enough, that we will disappoint others, that we will lose what we have worked so hard to build. But where does this fear truly come from? The fear of failure is not only about failing. It is about what we believe failure says about us. Many people think, if I fail, I am a failure. But that is not true. Failing is something that happens. It is not something we are. Still, this confusion runs deep. Often, it starts when we are children. We are praised when we succeed. We are corrected or even punished when we do not. Slowly, we begin to connect our value with success. We forget that we have value simply because we are alive. As adults, this fear grows stronger. Society tells us we must always win, always grow, always achieve. Social media shows people smiling, reaching goals, never struggling. This creates a false picture. We begin to believe that everyone else is succeeding. And if we fail, we are the only ones. But in truth, no one escapes failure. It is part of being human. We all fall. We all make mistakes. Even great teachers, leaders, and creators have failed, often many times. What makes them great is not that they avoided failure. It is that they stood up again. To face the fear of failure, we must first see it clearly. We must ask, what am I really afraid of? Is it shame, judgment, disappointment? By naming the fear, we take away some of its power. Fear is not the enemy. Ignoring it is. Pretending it is not there gives it space to grow. But when we look at it with calm eyes, we begin to understand it. And what we understand, we can learn to live with. This is the first step towards standing strong. Many of us treat failure like it is something to fear, to run from, or to hide. We see it as a sign of weakness or shame. But why is this? Why do we see failure as something so terrible? One reason is that we often connect failure with pain. When we fail, we may lose something important, like money, relationships, or pride. These losses hurt. Our mind remembers that pain and tells us, don't go there again. In this way, failure becomes a warning, like fire or danger. But pain is not always a bad thing. It can teach us. It can open our hearts. Still, we try to avoid it. Another reason is how others may see us. We fear judgment. We fear people will laugh at us or talk behind our backs. We worry they will see only our failure and not our effort. So we hide our mistakes. We keep quiet about our dreams. We stop trying new things because we fear what might go wrong. But this fear locks us inside a small life. There is also a voice inside us, a harsh one. It says, you should have done better. You are not smart enough. You are not strong enough. This voice is not kind, but we listen to it. We believe it. We think this voice protects us, but it only makes us smaller. It tells us to stay in our comfort zone, where we can't grow. Failure becomes the enemy, because we see it as the end of the story. But it is not. Failure is a part of the journey. It is not a wall. It is a door. It is a teacher dressed in difficult clothing. When we stop seeing failure as an attack, we begin to see it as a lesson. We begin to open to life again. Changing this view is not easy. It takes time and care. But when we stop treating failure like an enemy, we can begin to live more fully. We stop hiding. We stop pretending. We become more honest with ourselves. And from that honesty, something powerful begins to grow. Many people fear failure because they believe they must always be in control. They want to plan everything, to know what will happen next, to be sure of success before taking a step. This desire for control is strong. It gives a feeling of safety. But in truth, it is only an illusion. Life is full of change. We cannot know what tomorrow will bring. Even when we try our best, even when we plan carefully, things can still go wrong. A job may be lost. A business may fail. A dream may not come true. This is not because we are bad or lazy. It is simply the nature of life. Nothing is fixed. Everything moves. Still, we hold on tightly, as if we can stop the river from flowing. When we believe we must always succeed, we begin to fear any sign of weakness or doubt. We stop taking risks. We try only what feels safe. But in doing this, we often stop growing. We avoid challenge. We avoid life itself. Control and certainty can bring comfort, but they are not the same as peace. Real peace comes when we accept that we cannot know everything. It comes when we understand that failure is not a mistake, but a part of walking through life. When we try to control everything, we suffer more. We become frustrated, angry, or afraid. But when we let go of that tight grip, we breathe more freely. The fear of failure often hides a deeper fear, the fear of the unknown. But the unknown is not our enemy. It is where all growth begins. Every new step, every beginning, starts in a place we have never been. If we wait until we are certain, we may wait forever. We cannot control the future, but we can choose how we meet it. With fear or with strength. With tight fists or with open hands. When we understand that control is limited, we begin to see failure not as a loss of power, but as a part of real, honest living. In that understanding, fear starts to lose its voice. Failure often feels like falling. It can be sudden, painful, and confusing. In that moment, it may seem like everything is lost. But if we take time to look more closely, we may find something important hidden in the fall, lessons that we could never learn by standing tall. When we fail, we are forced to stop. We must pause and look at what happened. This can be uncomfortable. We may feel shame or regret. But this pause gives us a chance to see things more clearly. We notice what worked and what didn't. We discover where we were not honest with ourselves. We see how we depended too much on what others thought. These are deep and powerful insights. They help us grow in ways success never could. Falling teaches humility. It reminds us that we are human, like everyone else. No one is perfect. No one succeeds all the time. When we fall, we learn to let go of pride. We become more open, more real. We begin to understand others better. We stop judging so quickly, because we know what it feels like to struggle. In this way, failure can open our hearts. Sometimes failure also shows us a new direction. What we thought was our path may not be right for us. A closed door might guide us to another, better one. But we can only see that after we fall. We don't get that view from the top. In this way, failure can be a turning point. It also builds resilience. Every time we fall and get up again, we become stronger. Not in a loud or proud way, but in a quiet and steady way. We learn that pain will not break us, that we can survive hard times. This gives us courage. We realize that the fear of falling is often worse than the fall itself. Falling down is not the end. It is part of the way forward. The ground can be a place of learning, a place of reflection, a place where something new begins. If we can look past the pain, we might find wisdom waiting for us. Many people think strength means fighting, winning, or pushing through. But sometimes, real strength is quiet. It does not shout. It does not force. It accepts. This kind of strength is easy to overlook, but it is deep and lasting. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means seeing things as they truly are, without lying to ourselves. When we fail, our first reaction is often to resist. We say, "This shouldn't have happened," or "It's not fair." We blame others, or we blame ourselves. But in this state, we are not learning. We are only hurting. Acceptance is different. It says, "Yes, this happened. Yes, it hurts. But this is where I am now." This is not weakness. It takes great courage to face things as they are. To stand still in a hard moment and not run away. To stop pretending and just be honest. When we accept failure, we can begin to move forward. We are no longer stuck in anger or denial. We stop wasting energy trying to change the past. Instead, we use that energy to understand, to heal, and to grow. We become stronger, not because we avoided pain, but because we walked through it with open eyes. This kind of strength does not depend on outside success. It does not care how others see us. It comes from knowing ourselves, from standing with ourselves, even when things go wrong. This is a steady kind of strength, the kind that stays with us no matter what life brings. In accepting failure, we also accept our humanity. We are not perfect. We never will be. And that's okay. To accept this is to find peace. Not the peace that comes from everything going well, but the peace that comes from being real. Some people think acceptance means we stop trying. But that is not true. In fact, when we accept reality, we can act more wisely. We are not blinded by pride or fear. We can see clearly, choose calmly, and try again. Not from a place of panic, but from a place of strength. In the stillness of acceptance, something powerful awakens. Not control, not certainty, but a quiet trust in life and in ourselves. In life, there are no promises. No matter how carefully we plan, no matter how hard we try, there is never a guarantee that things will turn out the way we hope. This can be a difficult truth to accept, but it is also one of the most freeing. Many people wait for certainty before they act. They say, "I will try once I'm sure it will work," or "I'll move forward when I know I won't fail." But that moment of complete certainty may never come. If we wait for it, we may wait our whole lives. Walking the path without guarantees means choosing to act even when the outcome is unknown. It means stepping forward not because we are sure of success, but because we know it is the right step for us. This takes courage. It also takes deep honesty. Honesty about our hopes, our fears, and our reasons for moving forward. When we accept that life has no guarantees, we begin to live more freely. We stop trying to control every detail. We let go of the pressure to be perfect. We begin to make choices based on meaning, not just on results. We ask, "What is important to me?" instead of only, "What will make me win?" This way of living invites us to trust, not in outcomes, but in the process, in the step itself, in the journey we are on, and in ourselves as we take each step. This kind of trust is strong because it does not depend on things always going right. It grows even when things fall apart. Of course, it is natural to want results, to hope for success. But when we make results, the only goal, we suffer. We become afraid to try. We forget that the path itself shapes us, that who we become along the way is more important than what we achieve at the end. There is wisdom in walking with open hands, not tight fists. There is strength in saying, "I don't know what will happen, but I will still walk." This is not the easy path, but it is the real one, the honest one, the path where life is lived fully, without waiting for perfect signs. And on this path, we often find more than we were looking for. Many of us grow up believing we must be perfect. We think we must never make mistakes, never show weakness, never fail. We chase this idea, hoping it will protect us from judgment, from shame, from pain. But perfection is not real. It is a heavy mask we wear, and it keeps us from living fully. Perfection says, you must always get it right. Courage says, even if you get it wrong, keep going. These two voices are very different. One brings fear, the other brings freedom. When we live for perfection, we become afraid to act. We avoid risks. We hide our true selves. We worry about what others will think. But when we live with courage, we show up as we are. We speak honestly. We try, even when the ending is uncertain. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to move forward, even while fear is present. A person who feels no fear is not brave. They are simply unaware. Real courage is quiet. It often looks like small actions, asking for help, admitting a mistake, starting again after a failure. These things may seem small, but they are powerful. To live with courage is to accept that we are imperfect, and to still say yes to life. It means being willing to try again, even when we have fallen. It means being kind to ourselves when things go wrong. And it means understanding that our value does not come from being perfect. It comes from being real. When we drop the need to be perfect, we give ourselves room to grow. We can learn, change, and discover. We can connect with others more deeply because we are no longer pretending. People are not drawn to our perfection. They are drawn to our honesty. Living with courage does not mean we stop caring. It means we care enough to try, even when success is not guaranteed. We care enough to stay open, even when it hurts. We care enough to live fully, not just safely. In the end, it is not perfection that makes a meaningful life. It is the willingness to show up, to keep walking, and to stay true, even when the road is hard. This is the path of courage, and it is open to us all. We have walked through many thoughts together about fear, failure, control, falling down, and courage. These are not simple ideas. They touch deep places within us. They remind us of our struggles, our hopes, and our wish to live meaningfully. If there is one truth that carries through each part, it is this. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the same path. To fall is not to be broken. To be uncertain is not to be lost. To feel fear is not to be weak. These are simply parts of being human. And being human is enough. Life will not always give us what we want, but it often gives us what we need to grow. That growth is not always loud or easy to see. Sometimes it happens in silence, after a failure, in a quiet decision to try again, or in a moment of gentle honesty with ourselves. When we accept that we will not always succeed, something in us becomes free. We no longer need to prove anything. We no longer need to hide. We simply walk, step by step, with care and with heart. And in this way, we live a full and honest life, not perfect, but deeply real. If these words have brought you some comfort, clarity, or calm, I am grateful. I thank you for spending your time here, listening and reflecting. Your presence, your attention, and your openness mean more than you may know. To those who have supported this channel with likes, kind comments, subscriptions, or super thanks, please accept my heartfelt gratitude. These quiet acts of support help this space continue and grow, and they are never taken for granted. If you feel that someone else may benefit from these reflections, you are most welcome to share them. And if you wish to stay connected for future talks like this, I'm always honored to have you here. May you walk your path with steady steps, and may you find peace, even in the places where things do not go as planned. Thank you for being here.